Okay, here's a fully loaded platform ready to go. It's going to basically the greatest hits of scripts I've written so far. Got some wackadoodle stuff, but this has a combo plate of limits, markets, and stops, so there's a blend. This is not pure limit. I don't just trade limit orders only, so I have to trade the market sometimes because they twist my arm. So here you would buy, on this one on the right, you would buy at the market, right? You'd walk down a perfect thing. But the thing is that I've been putting limit orders and market orders at the same time, so I'm picking up whatever there is. This one is moving twice the volatility of this guy. So this is rangy because it's euro to the pound. But since it doesn't move much, and it moves in concert with it's a derivative of, people don't trade derivatives. Well, this is a hedged derivative, right? This is, on the right, we have the slightly less volatile, but more dramatic in a way. It can be. There can be a lot of drama out of that pound. And then we have the, and so I'm putting a buy stop right here, just one buy stop. And here I'm going to put one buy stop. And that's a 15-minute buy stop. I hand place some retest this top within a 5-pip zone. This is all clustered up in here. I just keep dragging and dropping that. So you have to be multi-dimensional. You cannot be one-dimensional. So why is a tree crooked? Because if it was straight, it would snap, right? Why is the thing? Why are things crooked? Right? Why is it when you break a bone it grows stronger? Was it the more effect or something? Why is that like that? And so the euro will sync up and it will go after the dollar and the pound at the same time in unison. And there'll be a big burst. Then what will happen is the pound, here comes the pound traders, and they're like, well, that's unfair value from that instrument, euro to the pound. Everybody can see it. Everybody's got their orders to go the other way there. This is a constant up and down battle game, right? So this drama goes on forever, right? This up and down stuff. Now, positioning yourself for it. This is obviously ranging, and this is obviously in a trend. And this typically what happens Australia versus New Zealand. For the majority of the point, it's like 90% ranging. If you call this a trend, I would say this is the trend you wanted to be on. You got in here, you got the fuck out here. This is wave 3, 4, 5. It's a perfect Elliott wave. If you consider this to be wave 3. So it's a perfect Elliott wave if you recount it. So you're like, you see how bad it is to count Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And people say 3 drive, and people say it doesn't matter. Whether it's a 3 drive or a 1 drive or a no drive, neutral, right? You're on the sidelines waiting to get filled. So I'm not going to touch this trade. I've loaded up on this guy for the breakout. We had this amazing at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what this was, but I traded that laying in bed. I look over, and this thing's about ready to pop. And look at this pullback before this explosion of 30 pips clean in literally 10 minutes. Can you explain the cause and effect relationship here? Was it news, or was it the fact that this market perfectly, and you could just trade the euro dollar, like I said, just trade one instrument and you can make $1 million, right? You just know how to size it. Look at this entry here. What if you put $1 million order down here? How'd that work out for you? Even down here in the feeding zone. You right here you could see the stop hunt on the 1 hour, guys. That is a 3-pip window. This spread is under, like, you can load the wagon on that. And if you're afraid you're going to miss this entrance, at this perfect, and doji is this surrounding area, right? So you have a 2-pip window here. And you've got, if you want to go for the confluence and give it all this fucking scoring votes, you got this wedge forming. These setups get any stupider? Can anybody see at the 5-yard line? 5-yard line, you're trading standard lots, right? You put in you hand place 10Ks here. 90K gets filled. It's a good trade, right? And so this smack here, as we come into the bottom of the hour, I'm going to be out of the trade. Bye-bye. I'm done for the day. See ya. 10 minutes, you're in the market, right? Get rich quick. There you go. Okay, I'm going to zip it up. I'm putting the whole fucking thing in there. It's going to be indicators. And the hotkeys are set. So I think it's templates, scripts, and something else. There's like 3 things you need to get it running to look like this. So you need the, maybe it's profiles or something. I'll look in the, but see the way they redid the folder and stuff, because everybody lost their mind when that happened. Because it's too much punishment, too much change. Nobody wants change. Nobody wants things, they want everything to stay the same. So you have these. So here you can't really touch this. Now you could get out. You could take out profits, and you could take out profits on this symbol or that symbol, but this trade may be over. If you are doing retracement trades on the 5-minute, this trade is over. You just made 5 pips in 10 minutes. You're done. You just made $500, right? You're out. You risked $250. You made $500. But you don't have to do that on one. If you have it, if you can come over here and place, 20Ks by hand at this level here inside of fair value, because we all know that this feeding line where you see these continuous smackings at the 5-yard line, this is going to be the lower end of fair value if you consider from wick to, this is volatility fair value, to be from the wick, this big explosion here, this mind-boggling. Now you're in the middle of that right now. This established the range, right? When this happened, when that spike happened, now we come back into a little bit above fair value here. This was the lower end of that same explosion. This was the better buy on pullbacks. So which one's the better? If you're going to try to buy the euro, do you want to buy it against the dollar, or do you want to buy it against the pound? If you buy it against the pound, you're not going to make as much or not going to lose as much, because pip-wise, if I were to take these and let the computer pick the true range of the chart I'm looking at all these. This is the same time frame. Look at all the pips on the left channel. On this panel, look at that. It's twice, right? This is 30 pips. I mean, this is 20 pip range. This is 20, 40, 50 pips, right? 50 pips on this puppy. The same script. Now, mind you, in the hotkeys, it's written with an 8-pip stop to make X. The key number 4, well, we just open it up and look at it if you gave a fuck, right? But the way it's set is, it's symmetrically set on the hotkeys, I think. You want to double check. I didn't put any limits in the, actually I didn't set the sells exactly. Like the buys are set to buy at the market and buy on a limit 15 minutes trailing. So there's a 2K on all the C1 to C4 is a 2K. But the other one may not fill because it's a 15-minute sleeper sell inside that buy at the market. So you're buying at the market with a 4, 6, 8, 10 limits. So you buy at the market, and it's going to say, well, come in and place a limit. I think it's 4 pips deep. And then you have 6. I think I just jumped at 10 maybe. But they're trailing limits, so it looks like this. If I take off all this stuff, this is C1. Now it's going to put a 15-minute limit trailer in there. Guess I'm wrong. And it just puts it in a random depth. Now that same script over here is going to be buying perfectly the retest of the 5-yard line, right? Because it's buying like 4 pips deep. Perfect, right? I think it's going up. I buy the market, but just in case I'm wrong, I have a backup plan that buys. Now here I can buy, I know if I buy another one at the market, that is going to put a limit in here for 15 minutes. So I have trailing limits connected to that just for economics sake of, I know I'm going to do that trade. So you write the scripts for the stuff you already know you're going to do, but if you trade like shit, the problem is you're going to write a bunch of scripts that do the same bad trade you're doing. So the trick is to take the scripts and use them as a way to outgrow your monolithic entry of just buying at the market. Because you buy at the market, sometimes it goes against you. Because you're picking the time yourself based on what you see happening, and you're like, oh no, definitely, for sure. Like you wouldn't pull the, Mark Douglas would say you wouldn't go into a trade unless you knew it was right. But what if you placed it pending? It's a completely different mindset. You know, it's a completely different mindset. There are people that wouldn't put a buy stop in. There's people that wouldn't put a buy limit. There's people who would trade the market. There's people who can build a position at the market. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to buy a little bit here. Every little pullback, I'm going to buy a little bit. I know that I'm going into my margins so gradually that nothing bad's going to happen. Worst case scenario, they stop me out, whatever that number's at. Some guy emailed me, asked me to risk. I'm like, I don't know, risk whatever you want to risk. I mean, there's no rules about, like, this is almost like, well, I suppose you're a little bit stuck with the mob, so to speak, how you live your life. You can't go outside and start screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? The police come over and stuff. But you could try that in the afternoon if you're like under 5 years old. You know, it totally works, right? You're young like that, you get such a break. But, you know, adults are trading, you know, so don't think in terms of, hey, let's try this. That's crazy. So here, you know, I'm already long. I would buy here at the market for the slight pullback if I thought that, well, this is going to go up and this is going to follow. So how much pull can you get off of, now the euro is going to kill the dollar here probably, right? So if that's true, then you may want to time it, arbitrage. This guy's pulling back a little bit. You got a limit in there. You're buying every little kind of dab back. You got the tick chart running here, and you got the tick chart of the euro running on another broker. So why you have a demo? Because you can look at the tick chart of this guy and go, oh, that thing's breaking out. Jump on this thing. So you're arbitraging against, you're really going a euro to the, I mean, the dollar to the pound is what you're trading, is a synthetic version of dollar pound here, held up to the standard of the euro. So you don't have, you would just naturally, oh, you know, the euro is how can it kill the pound? If the euro can kill the dollar, can it kill the pound? And there's a back and forth between the two. And overall, maybe the euro is killing everything. Maybe not Australia. I don't know. You know, you'd have to, but pip-wise and risk-wise, you know that this one, you could trade this as twice as much as you traded that, because you probably won't get stopped out of your script that you wrote for this guy. If you wrote an 8-pip stop, and you take it to the other market, so that's the thing. So you go to the guppy, you can't sit there with an 8-pip stop and keep pulling the trigger, because even if you, well, I guess if you waited every half hour to pull the trigger, right? You're waiting for that crescendo. Here comes the bottom of the hour right now. So here we go. Here comes the bottom of the hour, and we could get kind of a, and it's a half hour before news. And when news comes out, there'll be craziness, right? But if we have our orders in and we know the decay time on them, how long they last, you know, all this stuff, what are the ratios, going into the news, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, the news isn't going to be, I understand that people that see a giant move in the news and then they jump aboard too big and then they blow up their account. I get the danger of that. But wouldn't that be the same thing as if you are a storm chaser and you decided to chase a 230 mile an hour tornado? Like, would you really complain if you got killed? Like, would you be like, well, I can't believe that? You know, just like, I mean, we were chasing this storm and everything. Everything was going just great. So, you know, what the hell is that, right? But yeah, this is, you know, you just, and of course here, there's plenty of buying and selling opportunities. I don't see why people want to go look at all these other currencies. It's just funny. It's like the latest trend. Oh, I heard these things are really cool. Yeah, that one kind of, that car with the wings on it. Yeah. But see, I hate trends. I've always hated trends. That's why I'm not a good trend trader. I hate it when people say, oh, the latest. I'm like, the latest thing? Everything's the latest thing. Everything isn't the latest thing. There is no latest thing. It's like this, the Forex signal service. I mean, it's really just for ego entertainment to make a market call. Let's face it. There's no money in that unless you have a newsletter. You know, unless you got a newsletter, what's the point? And then you'd be like, oh, I put a 300 pip stop on that. See, I'm right. Yeah, it took forever to get there, man. Jesus Christ, all the pullbacks. I mean, yeah, it went up eventually. I mean, we could have just traded the pullbacks. We should have a pullback strategy. Right? So you're either getting in here to make it to another place. So I thought it's where are you getting in, where are you getting out, and then of course you're going to time the market. I think that's where you see this stuff happen at the top of the hour, bottom of the hour. You're like, holy shit. The market actually make a run, and then 6 o'clock it makes a burst run, or it makes a run for 5 minutes. It's done. Right? 5-minute move. Look at this move. Look at this fucking move. Look at the pressure built up into this explosion here. No, that's a fucking trade. Come on. Look at this thing. You could just trade the 5-minute chart, presupposing you got a trade plan for every. Structurally, it doesn't look like a piece of cake. Why would you want to go anywhere else? Just trade the euro dollar, right? But I get this idea that I want to date the blonde, I want to date the brunette. I just want to make sure I cover the field. You know, I got to find the best, Andrew Dice, looking for the best baby making machine. Guys trading Forex. That's funny. Yeah, look at this thing, man. Okay, so this is a 2 pip away buy stops I'm stacking up now. And these are all set to enter at 2.5 pips above current price. So I'm just loading the wagon here. Like, now the take profits on that are going to be way above where we can't see, but we don't care. We know I think it's set to 60 pips. So the very first ones are only set to make like 10 pips because this is how we pay the rent. We pay the rent by taking little things off the table along the way. So if I want to make that big kahuna move, I'm either going to buy key number 4, which is going to buy me at the market with a buy limit way down here. So this is for the market really heats up. Now, as far as the stop goes, the stops are 9 pips at the market. Now, you have 9 pips here, but it's going to buy, once it gets stopped out, it's going to buy on a limit if 15 minutes go by after you hit that button. 15 minutes goes by, that thing deletes. Those limits are all gone, so there's very much, you're a really active trader, and it's designed like that. Well, this is not the end-all be-all because I could drag and drop. I could blow the account up. Like I told the fire marshal, when you leave here, there's nothing preventing me from lighting my fucking self on fire and committing suicide and you having a playback of Allah Akbar running in the background, digitally coming through subwoofers after I'm gone, right? The Timothy Leary, right, launched me from the spaceship, my ashes. So, yeah, here we are. We're waiting for the news to come out, and this is the pre-news trade, I call it. We bid it up, and then maybe we go flat just before the news because unless we're in really small, now this is the thing to gauge if part of this is going to be a swing trade. So you scalp and then you hold for the follow through maybe. But we'll just judge that in the next. We got 55 minutes to decide that. Now, if we cash out of something along the way, that's all the better because we can actually make money into the news, and then the market reverses severely. We see that it's drifting into the news in a particular direction. Now here it's drifting up, but it doesn't mean it can't slam back and then finish up. So there's going to be all sorts of people. It's a crowded market that you don't see. People talk about, well, there's a bunch of volume in the market. Like this is the squat from Williams. I think what that is, yeah, people are fucking loaded on this trade. And the market hasn't moved much, but there's a lot of load. And so when that load comes off, now you've got a open circuit. It's grounding out. It's going to ground out because you pulled away what was invisibly holding it up because you didn't see the volume mixed with the movement. Typically, you see volume on a big move. But what if there's volume and people are like hedging and they're just like seriously in, and they're like, there's the up move because everybody's expecting to maybe take out the high of the day or something. that's certainly the goal for an engulf trader. For a pure auction trader, they're going to buy the low the Wednesday, and they're going to hold until Friday, and it takes out the high on Monday. Right? Total engulf auction trade is the ultimate reversal of very tight stops. You get in at the edge, you ride to the edge, and bingo, bango, and there she goes. So either direction, that is the weekly dream trade. This weekly swing dream is 1 or 2 swings a week, and you're loaded up. You've scalped out of the gate. You padded the account. Nothing can go wrong, really, in terms of you don't even have to run a trailing stop, because if they come back and smash you out, you trade it in such a way that you scalp the new low of the week. It's retraced up into that, and maybe you held and reloaded lightly because you perceive, well, and you've done the math, and you can see I cannot blow up the account now. Just let it go. Or you just scalp it. You know, if you can do that in the morning, see the market positioning itself, see where the vacuums are forming, load up incrementally, you can get into 80K. It only takes 80 button presses. I mean, when you think about 140 characters you're allowed on Twitter, that's 1.4K of you just hitting your keyboard. I mean, fuck, people write bullshit on Twitter all day long. They could be trading. All that effort, all those keystrokes, you could just be hitting a fucking button? Come on. It's ridiculous, right? Of course, knowing which button to hit when. That's going to be it, right? It's not just hitting buttons like this guy that was trolling me. This wannabe trader. I don't know if it's worth the effort. Wow. Yeah, what enthusiasm! Wow, thanks. Hey, coach. Like, yeah, he needs a trading coach. He needs a life coach, right? I think that's a new industry, life coach. What do you do? Well, I'm a life coach. Wow, okay, but you smoke crack. I know that's how I'm a life coach. What I'm doing is that I'm under so much stress from trying to coach people that I had to turn to, like I was watching a Forensic Files. And this cop was talking to kids going, stay off drugs, ended up caving for money and taking the drugs out of the warehouse. And he's like a do-gooder. You're your classic upstanding gentleman. He's got a side business running. Hey, God, could you blame him, right? He's got probably, you got to pick from which drugs he wants to. He's got the gear to make sure they're real drugs, too. He had to test it and everything. How can you trust the foxes to guard the hen house? But that's the whole thing, the fear of, oh, my broker's out to get me, the market's out to get me, all stuff's out to get me. But yeah, you need a life coach, that's all. You just need an inspiration coach, like somebody to go, like, yeah, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and go for it, kid. Yeah, just go for it. You'll be fine. But hey, you know what? And then you make money, and then everything's not fine because you try something else. You know, it's the old, those notes they put on, those little reminder notes they put on the toaster ovens. Don't put this in the bathtub or your hair dryer. I always like that one. I mean, this is when actually the beginning, the end is when they put warning labels on shit, because I was counting on that to thin the herd. I was hoping, for God's sake, man, we need to lose a couple more goobers in the bathtub with the hair dryer, because we've got to somehow get this down to a manageable size. Only because we don't, those people driving traffic. So I was driving yesterday, only at, so the government decided here they were going to raise the speed limit 5 miles an hour, but the government has never put out signs. So now people are driving 80 because they normally drive 5 over. So I'm in the left lane yesterday. If you tailgate me, just in case you happen to meet me on the high, if you're tailgating me, I'm not moving over. I'm too stubborn for that. If that's going to happen, we're going to go there, I got a trailer hitch, so I would just tap my brakes and would just like tag your grill a little bit on your Type F car, whatever you got. So don't try that tactic with me. Okay. Homie, don't play tailgate. Tailgate. No go tailgate. Tailgate party. No tailgate car. Okay, so here I'm long, but I'll put another buy stop here. So I'll do one ticket for 15 minutes. I have a buy stop pending. Now, if it digs deeper, I don't have any pure limit hotkeys, so I just come in here and drop a limit like this. Now that's 8 hours, so I don't want to go 8 hours maybe. So I come up here to my infamous, it should be in here. I should have some buy drops. Maybe I don't. Oh well, I can put them in here. No, here's a scalp. You can just take here's buy drops with 1 hour. So here's kind of a whole flavor pad. It's an endless stream of possibility. Here's 9 pips to make 14 pips for 1 hour. Here, how many times can you do this, right? 10, if I do 10 of these, it's a 10K, right? Or you have a button that you know lasts for 15 minutes. Now, the idea that that doesn't work is so retarded, it's beyond retarded. I have a broker where I can hit a button, and it's just going to lay in a stream like this, right? It looks like this. 15-minute script, and I swear to God to you, it's like this. The limits are coming in, right? 15 minutes, news comes out, and maybe you got a master stop down here. There's scalps, the take profits look like this coming off of these trees. And by here, it's out. Like, it's just a swoosh. It's a sweep the leg trade. It's a Karate Kid trade. Okay, so here we're waiting for another pullback possibly. So I had the defensive entry is to put the buy stop here trailing above this fractal, this mountain peak on the 5 though. This could still pull back, so I could place 2 pip stop here. 2 pip stop to make 5 pips in 1 hour right there. Right. These are scalps. See, it's under scalp, so these are designed for that situation. Now, 1 hour, right? Giving the news could come out, anything could happen. Or I'm stacking up buy stops here with the hotkey on top of this, anticipating a final climax move to the upside. Now, here we've already scalped out of maybe the 10 pip winners have gotten out of this trade. This looks like a buy stop situation here. So I can put in for 15 minutes. I can put in a okay, just put in 10K for 15 minutes right there. So you have to design this around what you really because this is, I would just buy at the market here because hello, you know, it's pulling back. I don't think I want to overpay. Now this is another thing psychologically. Do you want to get that confirmation burst and it cuts through, and there's that would mean that the market has to blow through that. If it tags it and pulls back and then just whipsaws you, you don't want that. But see, maybe buying at the market here is not done pulling back. So as it pulls back, it's presupposing I got enough money in the account. As it pulls back, I keep putting buy stops in on top here and stacking up that. And this next key number 6 is going to be a half-hour buy stop. And then all the keys after that are 1 hour buy stops. And the profits are bigger. So I said a little more risk. I go up to about 12 pips. Okay, these are all big winner buy stops. And so we have the, now we're going to put 15-minute buy stops in. We're pulling back. And we're waiting for the top of the hour now, and they may crush it. That may have been the trap. The seller's window was here. So when that vacuum fills, it's satisfied, it comes back. And this is where they've trapped people that are trading breakouts on the 15-minute, and they're going, holy shit, it's in an uptrend. I put a fucking, like they told me, I put a buy stop here, and I'm fucking underwater. I'm back to where I got it. I could just buy here again. All right? That's when they say breakout trading doesn't work. Yeah, because it's one man's breakout's another man's trap. Right? Now, in the end, this could be right. You'd be like, look at it, I got in. I put a stop. Now, this is the argument, and this is why backtesting doesn't work. I put a buy stop here. My strategy is I put a buy stop here, and I have protection here. Well, in the end, you're right. But you fucking got trounced by 5 pips. Why didn't you take something off the table on the way out of this breakout, is what I'm saying. Why isn't there, built into your system, some way to make money? You're right, I'm right, but Now, Are people back testing, breakout, pullback, get in here? I don't know. How are they going to do that? You going to spend all that time writing that algorithm? Just fucking trade it. By the time you write it, you could have just done it here, right? Okay, now we're going to buy at the market on all 4 keys. So we're going to put in an 8K. I'm going to put an 8K. Both instruments get an 8K with big take profits, and small take profits. So I have scalps built into it. Here I'm going to do it again. So I just put in an 8K. Done. I just hit 1, 2, 3, 4. C the C keys, hotkeys. C 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Okay. It's down here. It's under hotkeys. So here we go. Right there. So I just double click these guys like this. Okay, so now this guy's taken off and this guy isn't. So we have a little arbitrage there. So I need to put buy stops in here. So that was a little bit of you see the complete, they did not agree there. As you're coming upon the top of the hour, there was a total disagreement. And there had to be this kind of smashback because there's too many people on this train. I don't want to say that they kicked people off, but I think this vacuum was sitting here. And since we've already filled this vacuum on this 5-minute treetop, I think that's the thing. Right, that's the deal. Is this zone right here? So you come back to the and they have the let's see, go for a detailed look at this. Now this would be the breakout. If people have sell stops there and they're bearish, they're looking for that to be true, and they're going to come all the way down to here possibly. But we're long this one, so we're running kind of a hedge in a sense, because if we bought this, pull back to the breakout, and over here we sold there, we'd actually see, I don't know the timing. No, you'd really just say you could have sold that and made this range trade, but now you'd have to have that sell key on deck. For me, it's easier to just figure out how I'm going to get in, not if I'm going to get in or which direction, it's how I'm going to get in. So if I have trailing buy stops that are stacking up here, and I have a limit here, and I have a limit basket here, and I have one down here, and this one, a big fat limit here, a big fat limit here at the 5 yard to make 5, to make 10, dump the whole thing, buy on pullbacks. Now this is pulling back, so we could run buy stops here to make this. So this is what I do, is put buy stops in here, like a defensive entry, and this is cashing out. Now they're trapping people here, but I'm putting in buy stops to hedge, like lock in a hedge at the floor, so to speak. So if this is a fake breakout, then this guy goes up, then they move in concert together by the top of the hour, maybe. Who knows? Maybe not. So if I buy both, now how I time, now if I buy at the market here a little bit, buy on stops and let this guy go into its profits, this will be cashing out pretty soon. And then we can get in that one. So we just go whichever way the wind's blowing as far as the euro against these two guys. Okay, so we're locked in. We bought that new low here. This is making new highs. If the euro goes up against the dollar and we get a little in concert move against the pound, then they would both cash out together. Right. So it's a 5-minute strategy. It's a 5-minute structure. I'm trading the 5-minute structure. The strategy to me is, how do we get in? The tactics, how do we get on limit, stops, market? Do I cash out of one of these guys? Do I wait for these to sync up and actually become a concert move. The euro is going to go up against the dollar and the pound in 5 or 10 minutes in concert. The whole thing cashes out. Boom, you're out. Now, if you made, if you're making 50% a day trading like that, you're making 100% of your margin, so you're risking $400 a margin, you're making $400 a day trading like that. So at 500 to 1 leverage, you need more leverage. It's very hard to trade this way in the United States, but you'd have to really just pick a currency and have your finger on the trigger. See, the problem with the American Frank Dodd shit, it forces people to become crackheads. It's actually contributing to drug abuse because people have to be sitting there with their finger on the fucking trigger going, dude, first in, first out. Okay, so this is the trade, man. So this is the problem, maybe, right? Because there's no excuse for the other people in Europe that have the power in front of them, but they don't take advantage, right? They have all that. Now, here we could get a concert move where the euro goes against the dollar and the pound in unison for just into the top of the hour. Bam. Then we go flat. Then here comes the news, right? Or maybe we just made like $1,000 and we're just done trading. Forgot it. So I think it started here. So I wasn't watching the balance. I know I was at $10,000 though. Okay, so we're up $40 here. Just in the next 5 minutes, how much can we make? Margin level. I guess if I could make $400 using $400 of margin would be the ultimate to me. That's always my goal. My target is to say, well, am I really making use of what the broker's giving me to deal with? How much rope do I have, or how much is my and if my risk dollar-wise is not my margin-wise, but I guess if your total stop out is to lose $400 because you did the math or something against the margin, or I don't even know what that is. But a lot of that's just inconsequential. You either build a race car that goes fast, or, you put it on a dynometer all day long. But, first you got to get the thing to roll down the road to get it to do something. Let's see this thing do something. That's the most disappointing thing with EA stuff is expert advisors is hilarious. Actually, when I first heard that term, I'll never forget, I was inside a expert advisor. I go, fuck that. I was so angry. I mean, if you get pissed off now, you should see me like 15 years ago. So yeah, so I'm in this is first time in MetaTrader, and I go, expert advisor, how dare you? I'm the expert here, bitch. Like, I was so offended by the fact that they even had something like that. I go, what is this, for goobers? What is this, for people that aren't their own expert already? What's going on here? So, okay, top of the hour panic here. It looks like we're coming into. If we could just get this blast of take out this wick here, and then I'm out, right? So my take profits are on the way to that. And then I have something to go beyond. This is the 60 pip winner. Now this is the swing trade, or this would be the total engulf of the week trade. And if we let that go and walked away, we could just scalp out, let it go. We don't have to close out profits. But if you're up really big and you just made $1,000, maybe that's good. Maybe you wanted to make $1,000 this week and you actually made more than you were going to make, so you get the fuck out. Or today you wanted to make $1,000 and you're like, hey, I was going to try to make $500 today, made $1,000. Maybe you just get the fuck out, because just like people set risk, you have to set profit. The idea that you're going to now you may let it go because you structurally can see the weekly and you're like, holy shit, this bitch is going to retrace. It's a real range trade, just like they told me 80% of the market's ranging, so why don't I prepare for a retrace? Why don't I build myself a trade plan, a strategy that can see the big picture? I can scalp the 5-minute chart, right? And so that you're out of the scalp already, maybe, right? I see I already cashed out of something because I just saw the margin drop. So far it's good. Now here comes the big possible smashback, pullback. Because guess what? They just satisfied this area, and now the market's satisfied. It stopped. It grabbed the liquidity it saw up here that was about 20 minutes of liquidity up there. And it's the sellers came in up there. Right? Now, we're still waiting to take out this wick. And we're still waiting to now this is the problem because we've already taken that out there. Now maybe we got to go stop hunt these people. So you can hand place limits there. I already got some trailing limits left over for my market orders. These are going to disappear in 5 minutes, I think. Or you could sit there and write a script that literally buys 4 pips deep for 15 minutes. As the market's dropping, and every 15 minutes you hit that button, and you're literally going to catch a falling knife with your fingers are going away every 15 minutes. There's no end to how to enter how to get in the market is the most critical thing in the world, I think. Like, if you are going to risk 3K every hour, well, you could buy 1K at the top of the hour or sell 1K at the top of the hour, depending on your perception of, is this a good place to get in for something that's built around the clock? And then the other thing would be, well, is this a good place to get in structurally with a limit? And the other one would be, is the true range and the ATR and the volatility simmered down enough where I could put a buy stop in, and that makes sense. Or I just want to use a buy stop instead of using my market order because I know that my buy stop is set with a wider stop and a bigger take profit. And I just know that, and it's inconsequential. Like when the market was down here, I was putting in buy stops because if we reject this and this becomes a fake breakout, just like up here, if this is the fake breakout, as soon as it pops up there, I'm putting in sell stops. What's the difference? If your broker lets you trade inside the spread and you got tight enough, or you sell at the market. So the stop entry makes people think, well, you know what? This is what I learned in the books, and it made money. Now it's burning in my head. I can't trade any way but stops. So I put a buy stop in here, maybe, right? And here, this is pulled back, so I put in a buy stop here. Start the whole thing all over again. And maybe it is going to go up in the end, but, it's kind of like, it's not ever going to until the news comes out. Now, they may be ripping this thing north when the news comes out. Who knows, right? And it wouldn't matter because if I'm on the 5 minute and I'm seeing the way it's behaving and I'm thinking, well, maybe they're accumulating for a burst up. People are like, you know what, it's going up, but we're waiting for that. Plus, waiting for 2 more minutes to go by here, and then we're gonna wait for the news to come out, and then you can see the market kind of get crazy, and you're like, oh yeah, and this is when you can say, well, I could put in very light position now with a news script that has a 25 pip stop to make 50 pips, and I hit this one button, and it just kind of buys at the market, or it just buys on a limit or a stop. It's not going to matter because if you're risking 3K every hour, well, how would that even matter? It would, to a mathematician and to your account, equity wouldn't matter. So if that was you had the discipline to not, that's the power. The power is in not doing it, right? Anybody see the Schindler's List where the guy's about to kill people and the guy comes up, he's about to shoot people in the yard, and the guy comes up to him and he says, well, the power is in not doing it. You could do it anytime you want. Dude, you could kill all these people. You got a machine gun. He goes, the power is in refrain, right? That's the power. And that's what they say, discipline. But that discipline, the word discipline is just overused, and it's really ill-fitted in a way. It's about, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Is that discipline? I don't know. Look up discipline of the thesaurus and give yourself at least another branch out of that box that people live in. Like this guy that was over at his house with the mixing board and the hip-hop music. I said, dude. So I said, why is this drum track sound like shit? He goes, well, he says to me, well, hip-hop music needs to have the drums up front. I go, yeah, but not up front and ugly. Like, all you did was take the fucking EQ and slam it, flatline it. You just turned it up is all you did. You didn't contour it. Like, you didn't feather it out. You said, oh, it needs blue paint, so you threw blue paint in there. This is the art of trading is the art of entry, right? I mean, the art of time. Can't time the market. Okay, so I'm going to buy a little bit of the market here. Can't time the market. So this looks like a good slam back. The news has plenty of time here. There's the top of the hour. Plenty of time for this thing to get all crazy. This looks like a great buy over here, though. This is the true range is simmered down here, too. So I'm just going to buy that at the market, and these trailing limits come in. I'll put a couple buy stops in there. We're waiting for that final piece of news to run this market in a particular direction and get something. Now, if I zoom out, total different view of reality. As you zoom out, you can see, wow, this could come flying all the way back in here. Absolutely. Now, if you just want to be involved in the upside, you're just going to put the buy stops in, and you're going to wait to get filled on a if this is a pullback to retest and you don't want to buy at the market because it might slam down, right? You can put a buy stop in there, or you can buy at the market one position and a buy stop on another. So you don't have to be in. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. This is here now. You're back into fair value. This is and of course here you're dealing with a completely different pip range too. So when I buy at the market here to make 8 pips, I could probably make my 8 pips. If I buy here at the market at 8 pips, it's going to take a little bit more thrust. It's not like this market can't take off like a rape date, and any market could, and maybe by the end of the day, this is going to, the true range of this thing based on the 5-minute chart looking back half a day is going to be a completely different thing, and this will be dead in the water, and the true ranges change, right? So this idea of back testing is hilarious because I've seen the back test by the Greystone guy, and it's hysterical. It's like a 2-hour video. But when they're all done with the strategy, does it work or not, then they go picking out the stop they're going to use. What? So what we've done here is we built a car for a road that doesn't exist. Oh my God, you know the car you built is like 30 feet long? I know, we haven't come up with a road yet for it. Oh, okay. Well, that's really good. I like the concept car, right? But what road does it go on again? Oh, well, don't worry about that. Don't you like our car? That's what they're doing there at this back testing. Yeah, back testing, right? Why would you back test a 20 pip stop? Well, you just look at the chart and go, okay, I need a 20 pip stop for that. Getting in here, I need a 10 pip stop. Getting in here, I need a 5 pip stop. It's a 5-minute chart. Look at all the trades on here, right? Why don't you just trade the 5-minute chart the rest of your life? Well, so I could look at this, but I know the big picture, right? I have another computer monitor with I can see the daily, I can see the 4-hour. So I know where I'm living contextually in the 5-minute chart. Is this a good time to get in the 5-minute chart and still go with the 4-hour and the 2-hour trend? Is this a good time to sell for a scalp? I mean, imagine the sell here, like just a limits peppered up here, right? Just for that, just to make that one strategy for that one moment, for that one idea, right? Even this burst here, oh my God, you just made all that money, you're done. Right now you could get back in here and expect the same move and get all chopped to here and give back about 20% of your winnings on that move alone. Okay, we're waiting for one more follow-through burst here into the news, and then I don't know, it could be brutal reversal of fortune where they smash this. Now this is leaving the fair value stream. We're in the middle of it now. This is the double bottom. Here's where I got in on the buy stops. Just because that key was there, and I knew that they would. I knew I could lock in there because if that, in other words, if it rejects and keeps tanking, then it's a real breakout. Just like this, you could have buy stops when you just stop hunted this last little bit right here. See this 5-yard line right here? There was this little baby stop hunt. Right there you could have bought at the market or on a stop. Your limits would have to be placed right at the feeding zone here. So you have a double bottom, retested that breakout. Here you got a double bottom. And you can see that concert move. It's not going to be perfect because this guy doesn't move as much. If I match the pips, so if I put the same amount of pips on the screen, and you can see this is a very small zone here compared to this monster zone here. These are equivalent events against the euro against this. So it started right there. Look how huge this move is. So you'd always say, well, I can trade 2 scripts here for every 1 script I trade here and stay within some risk parameter, I suppose. Of course, for me, I'm just looking for that burst move. Like this morning, just happened to catch that between dreams I was having. I think I just want to end up, hopefully when you die, your dirt nap goes with a big giant dream. And you can just be in that dream where you direct your own dream, this lucid dreaming where you're like, you know what? I want to go downtown now. That's right. I want to go downtown and just get myself a big giant tall drink of something. Get a fountain drink. Go to the soda shop. No, go get some custard. Let's go be completely decadent. That was actually the 50s. You know, people are so... Actually, the Industrial Revolution is what caused people to live longer. You know, everybody listens to Roy Masters, but his famous line is that you're living longer and you're living wronger. So just because you're living longer doesn't mean that you're living correctly. Another life coach pro tip: free life coaching. He's richer, but he's sadder. And he's gonna hang himself at the hotel tonight after his concert. Oh, really? Okay. Wow, he's really hardcore. He's really a tough guy. Yeah, John Wayne wasn't gonna kill himself, was he? At least the roles he played, right? You didn't think that all these old... Of course, those guys are out of their mind, too. Don't forget the famous... used to watch McMillan and Wife, and the guy in there, apparently he's gay, right? It comes out later on, he's like gay. But, like, who cares? You know, who cares? Who cares what kind of food you eat? It's just so funny. So funny, people are like, oh, yeah. Well, then I'm watching his movies going... I don't see him kissing a guy. I rewatched everything he did, and I'm like, I don't see him kissing any dudes. I mean, is this true? Like, so funny because that whole thing about, news is just really, it's just gossip with commercials, right? That's all news is. Okay, I'm still waiting for the market to move here. My God, it's like paint drying. Coming into the news, this is going to be the big moment of truth, I think.
They were offered bribes by Lever or City Administrator Sylvester Jones to stop collecting the signature.
Okay, news is coming out in 5 minutes. I really don't see any kind of like... I took a little bit off the table, apparently, but I just put in more buy stops. At this one, we came down and retested this a third time. Third retest here, but it was just a little baby... moved down. It didn't really hold it. So we bounced off the 5-yard line again here, and now we're getting very tight. And when the news comes out, we could smash up here, and then we could rip back, or we can rip down and just go to hell. This could have been the drift up trap, and I might be trapped at the highs. Buy stops are stacking up here. On the 1 hour, this looks pretty good structure on the 1 hour. This is actually up in midair, which is totally overbought on the 1 hour, up in this range here. So news is coming out, and that's it. 5 minutes till news. If we break out this 5-minute bar, if I can cash out here when the news comes out, if I can cash out, if we should smack up into this, of course, then it could be satisfied and cut the other way. All we have to do is trip the, now this is the window. The first window, we scalped to this window, and then can we take out the high of the day, and is this going to be a ferocious spike up? Will it be the end of the retrace? And is this going to be the end of the auction for that Wednesday, Wicked Wednesday, Wild Wednesday, where they make new highs and new lows on a currency? And then Thursday, it kind of comes back a little bit, and then the final retrace comes on Friday, and then the trade's over. Who knows? But maybe this news can tip it over the edge. It's going to be some kind of news is coming out. But the spread could get too wide and kick us out because we're running very tight stops, 8-pip stops. That's another thing to consider, is how tight your stop is going into the news. But if we just make that first burst and we have tight take profits, we'll just get the fuck out and we'll scalp it instead of ride the big move. Okay, this is big news coming out. This is NFP and all that unemployment stuff. So we could see some serious drama. Hopefully we're out in the milliseconds before, when the news comes out, if we just bid up and take out the high of the day here, we'll have made money today. Now I'm using $600 in margin because I'm getting filled on buy stops here. All we have to do is pop up. Now it may just go zooming straight up, like it's already baked into the cake because there's such a vacuum. This is quite a pullback, and this may be just pure price trade regardless of the news. The news is just going to crash into a bunch of, say, bears have sell stops protecting their short position, but the big trend is up on the euro. This is a major pullback. This week is like the big discount week. So this could be the deep discount week, and then so NFP comes out, we cash out, and we're done. So I have 2 minutes here. Okay, we're cashing out now. Who needs news, right? Who needs news to make money? Look at this. Now, right at the high of the day, the news hasn't come out yet. Pre-news trade. Now, you might want to think about getting out because now you're up and they could come smashing back when the news comes out. So I think we just barely took profits there. Now the big move could be down, straight down, boom. So, or that's the pre-news excitement. People are like, well, we're bullish, and they pull back to here. Now the spread's going to get hairy. It already got wide on this currency. Big spreads here. And this is big news, so we could go rifling down now. That could have been the trap for the bulls. They got filled maybe in a breakout ticket here. I know I got filled on a breakout ticket way down deep here. But maybe the euro is going to be the winner, and if you're in both currencies, you've kind of spread your risk here too. Okay, news in 1 minute. And possible bid up before the news again. Like as the news comes out, we go smashing up, then we can come smashing back. We'll allow for both scenarios. Boy, they're just eager to fucking buy that euro against the pound, aren't they? Okay, spreads are getting wide. News in about 20 seconds. So just cashed out of something here on the right with my early targets. Okay, spreads are psychotic. News in 15 seconds. Major drama to come. Oh, big pullback there on the euro. Oof. 5 seconds to news. Oh, boy. Cha-ching. Waiting for the euro to the pound to coincide with that move. May not happen. Maybe a little lag there on that. Okay, so basically, we're waiting for this guy to play catch up. So if you still want to get on the train, maybe this is the only thing that you can trade right now. Okay, I was looking for another price pulse on the euro. If the pound joins, we could get a pullback maybe on the other one. Okay, big. So it's 30 seconds the news has been out. Major smash on this puppy. Now the targets on that, I think I'm about to target here on the euro. Just about to cash out of that. Right coming into the doji on the 4-hour from last week there. Okay, I've cashed out of that. Now we still have this guy to ride. I'm going to cash out of this one, take all profits just on that symbol. So let's dump this leg, let this guy go, and maybe he's going to be the winner. The winner of the day. He's going to bring home the bacon. We're going to move up our take profits to the high of yesterday. All we have to do is clip the trees there. And maybe the rest of the day, the euro is going to kill the pound in kind of a slow-mo I've only now see I've basically scalped out, and I've only got $122 of margin left. So there is plenty of, now we could get some, now we could see this guy even come back. Now I'm not going to change these take profits, but I'll let that one go. So basically that's it. And now I'm up, so I made about $400. So I almost made my margin. I'm still up slightly here, but I took off this leg, so I'm not exposed to anything here. We could still get a pullback here. And I could put in some limits here. Now here you would have to be, I would go wide by maybe here. Put in some, there's 6K. In case this pulls back, let this one go. And maybe this is going to be the big trend trade of the day, the euro to the pound, where it just kind of like, you know, we get like a lazy trend. And it goes up. Okay. Anyway, that's it. So that's how you do it. That's how I do it. Don't do what I do. So don't blow up your